Hello everybody and welcome to your very first round of month ahead forecasts on my channel. I'm so excited to start something new. I'm in a new place. This is like a new filming studio, if you will, and I can't wait to kind of change up my offerings a little bit. And before we begin, I do want to tell you a little bit about that. First and foremost, my name is Yelena Crawford, so welcome back to anyone and everyone that was a previous subscriber. Thank you guys so much. And for anybody that hasn't met me yet, welcome. I'm very happy to have you here. And this is kind of what my channel is going to look like moving forward. So if you were not a previous subscriber, you don't need to worry about what it used to be, but I kind of have a little bit of a new content strategy. So I'm going to be getting rid of my weekly forecast completely, and I'm going to start the month couple days prior to each new month. I'm going to push out forecast videos, which are month ahead forecasts, which is what this is, for all 12 zodiac signs. So you guys can know ahead of time exactly what's happening. And if you weren't already aware, I do offer a written monthly forecast as well. And it's general. It's not by zodiac sign. It's basically all about the collective and the energies that are happening in the month ahead, which can really help you to have that written paper, right? So if you are interested in signing up for my free written cosmic guide, is what I call it, you can go to my website, yelenacrawford.com, and a little pop-up box will come up on the screen where you can enter your email address. But I promise not to spam. I don't really send a whole lot. I maybe inform you guys of new videos or any new offerings I might have or whatever, but that's pretty much it. And then on top of these monthly forecasts, what I plan to do is obviously full and new moon videos, you know, and horoscopes for those as they come along. But also I want to start breaking down significant transits throughout the month. So as the energies are kind of coming in and passing, I want to really dive in and hone in and talk about those as they come along so we can kind of follow the transits together. So I want to make this really interactive. I may end up doing a lot of lives for some of these things too, but I will definitely make sure to let you guys know ahead of time. And then another one of my offerings is on Instagram, and I've been really kind of amping that up, and I've been doing daily astrology updates. So if you guys really want to follow the astrology on a daily basis as you learn and as it helps you with your own life, then I would highly suggest adding me over at Yelena Crawford Astrology on Instagram as well. I'm going to have stories and daily posts so you guys can keep up to date with the astrology in many different ways. Also, this is a general forecast, and I want to make that very clear that yes, I'm breaking this down by your rising sign. So that kind of sets up the chart, and I'm able to kind of see some of the in and out energies and the different themes that might be brought into focus for you over the next month. But your individual birth chart is what gets activated by these transiting energies. And our birth charts are all completely different. So while this might be hitting somebody and really bringing out positive potential with some of these transits, it could also be really exacerbating a negative portion of someone else's chart. So just keep that in mind. And if you are someone who is maybe navigating big changes and you want to make more sense of it, then contact me for a personal reading. I would highly suggest getting a reading with me or whatever astrologer you deeply resonate with. You can also do that through my website, yelenacrawford.com. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the announcements for right now. So let's get into the forecast. Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your April 2022 month ahead horoscope. Let's go ahead and dive in. It's definitely going to be quite an interesting month. We've got, at this point, all planets moving direct. So there's a lot of things beginning to really start moving forward, especially as we surge into Aries season. At the very beginning of the month, Aries is the season where it's a pivot of energy. It's a change. We almost feel this desire within to initiate some type of action that moves us towards something. And that is definitely the energy that we start the month with. So basically all planets are going to be direct until the second to last day of April. And we have one outer planet, station retrograde, which probably won't even have much of an impact on a lot of people. Maybe not even you, but we'll get to that point here. Lots of big energy. We've got eclipse season this month, which we're going to go more in depth and talk about. And the eclipses are significantly affecting you as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. So Aquarius, We start the month with a new moon in the sign of Aries on April 1st. Right out of the floodgates, we have this energy of Aries. So there is a fresh start, a new beginning. Maybe there's a new opportunity coming in. We're embarking on some type of new trajectory of some sort. This is specifically in your third house. And the third house has everything to do with correspondence, information, communication, our everyday to and fro, short trips, all of those kinds of things. Now, this is in a sign that's a little bit more fiery in their communication. So just watch during this time that you are careful with the words that you speak, the way that you say them, the way that you deliver your message to other people. Because Chiron, the wounded healer, is also here, which can create some type of wounding. It can kind of trigger an insecurity. It can just bring up old situations that seem familiar from the past that were a little bit more difficult or challenging to navigate. So that's why I want to just urge you, especially since this new moon is also combined with Mercury, which also has very similar attributes to the third house, very relative to communication. And if anybody is aware out there, Aquarians, of what Mercury operates like in Aries, it can be very abrasive. It can be very bold, say it like it is kind of energy, speaking before thinking, saying things that you later regret, impulsive in communication and in mind. This can also bring a little bit of an agitation on the mental sphere. One reason I say that as well is because as this new moon is happening, Mars is in kind of a challenging dynamic, it is in a challenging dynamic in the first house in your chart, which is you. So this could definitely be a little mentally agitating right now. And I just want to urge you to kind of try to do whatever it is to settle and calm yourself. If you can focus on meditation, or if you can just get out there and exercise, whatever it is that helps to calm your mind, rest, retreat. Maybe for this week, the first week of April, you avoid any type of important conversations with other people. Now, if you are self-aware and you use this energy wisely, you could actually have some very healing conversations with other people as well that set you on a different trajectory moving forward. Now, Mercury, which is tied into this dynamic, rules your fifth house of children. So this could have to be maybe some type of dispute with one of your children. Maybe it's somebody that you're dating, a romantic partnership of some sort. And this also rules the eighth house of debts, financial obligations, bills, things that we owe other people, and resources that we have that are combined somehow with other people. So all of these things could definitely come to the forefront during this time. In terms of the newness that might be starting or beginning at this time, I would say we might be learning new ways of communicating through difficult or challenging circumstances that teach us lessons, right? What best way to learn? By doing something that you shouldn't have done, or saying something you shouldn't have said, or maybe being a little too assertive or aggressive, and then the ramifications of that then teach us a very valuable lesson for the most part. You could also really be initiating or moving something forward, leading something where you're teaching a new skill, taking a certification. Maybe if you're a merchant or you have some sort of business online or something like that, you may be initiating something new relative to that in some way, shape, or form. This could be something that maybe your siblings are starting. This could be a conversation with the sibling that needs to be had. That maybe has a healing potential of some sort. And it could have some sort of association with relatives. So those are all things to take into consideration. Ultimately, I think with this house being active and that energy kind of setting the stage for what the month is going to look like for the most part, that's what a new moon does. This is going to be a busy time. The third house rules daily busyness. It's like sending out emails, answering text messages, making phone calls, scheduling things, making plans, trips back and forth in the vehicle, running errands. All of those kinds of things are definitely going to be on the uprise for the month ahead. So plan accordingly. For some of you, you may actually be taking a short trip somewhere or getting a new vehicle or electronic device as well. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mars. And like I mentioned, Mars is in the first house, and the more difficult dynamic that it's moving towards is going to be peaking on April 4th. Just keep in mind, whatever I say from this point forward is passing energy. It's nothing that we can't handle, but yes, it's going to have a very significant impact on you personally because it's happening in your first house. This can definitely be agitating energy. We might feel stuck. We might feel like we want to move forward, but we don't know how, or we can't in some way, like we've hit a wall. Because Mars, the gas pedal, I'm sorry, I've been talking all day. My voice is nearing the end of giving out. You guys are the second to last zodiac sign, so I'm so sorry for the coughing. Anyways, Mars is the gas pedal. Mars is the initiation of things. It's our impulses. It's our energy. It's our drive, our motivation. And that is wanting to charge forward, but it's hitting a conjunction to Saturn. And Saturn is a wall. Saturn makes us slow down. It could ultimately serve as a tempering to your impulsivity or aggression, or it could make you amp up the aggression because you feel stuck. So it can be very challenging energy of feeling like you can't move forward. This could very literally be related to health as well and vitality, because the first house is associated with the physical well-being and the body and your physical appearance and everything. So there could literally be some agitation. You could feel, not beautiful. You could feel like something's happening to your appearance. This would definitely not be a good time to get any type of cosmetic procedure or anything like that, in my opinion. So if that's something that you're interested in, like Botox fillers, anything that is cosmetic that could enhance your look in some way, I would probably hold off or wait for that type of procedure at this time anyways. But just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're resting. If you are feeling super agitated, just know that this too shall pass. I know it's easier said than done. Aquarius is definitely getting hit very hard right now. With a lot of you, this energy will hit your ascendant. So if you have your ascendant anywhere from, I would say like 17 to 27 degrees. We'll do 17 to 27 degrees of Aquarius. And this is definitely going to be having a very, very, very significant impact on you. And it could be rather intense for a couple days. So this is the first week. I would say intensity of these days is going to be more important for you guys to track. I would say anywhere from the 2nd of April, 1st of April, all the way through maybe the 7th, it'll start waning. But there's a lot of good energy that's mixed in with this that's helping to kind of mitigate some of those challenges and give you optimism and hope. And we're going to talk about that next. But just tying this dynamic together and finalizing it, we also want to look, since it's Mars and Saturn, to see what are the other houses in the chart that Mars and Saturn rule, because it could give us more of an indication of what some of this agitation may entail. Now, Mars is the ruler of your 3rd house of siblings and relatives, so maybe the aggression and conflict is coming from them. It could be relative to any type of communication that was coming in during the new moon, or it could just be you saying something you didn't mean to say or saying something you shouldn't have said that then results in a lot of stress, conflict, and tension that's brought upon you. So be careful with your words during this time. Also, this has to do with your 10th house, which is how you're known publicly. So if you are maybe speaking and saying something online, be a little bit more cautious during this time, because that could create some type of trigger that could affect the way people perceive you during this time as well. This could be maybe a conflict with an authority figure. Maybe something is changing in your career that's creating some sort of agitation for you. Also, Saturn rules the 12th house. These are self-undoing behaviors. So again, maybe you say something, shoot yourself in the foot because you should not have said it. And you are the only one that's steering your own wheel here on your ship of life and who you are as a person, and you are going to have to be more responsible for your own behaviors, patterns, and abilities. So ultimately, the 12th house also could rule enemies, hidden enemies. So maybe it's not you, maybe it's somebody that's out to get you or something like that too. But we'll see how that plays out. Again, that's passing energy, you guys. So it shouldn't last too long. But this Mars-Saturn dynamic is swearing the nodes of fate. Okay, so this is a huge turning point. It is a slowdown or a stop so that we can make some sort of decision. We may receive a communication that's agitating. These nodes are in your 10th and 4th house. This could very well be something relative to your family members. It could be relative to your home situation, your living situation. Maybe you've got some dynamics that are up in the air with your home, selling a home, restoring a home, renovating, who knows what that might be. It could also be like very challenging situations that are going on with your parents too. So just keep an eye out for some of those dynamics to come up at the beginning of the month. But I think we should veer and talk about some of the more positive mitigating influences that are also taking place during this time. We have Venus, and Venus is the ruler of your eclipses that have to do with the home sector that we will talk about later on. Venus rules over home, family in your chart, as well as your ancestry, your roots, and the emotional you, the private you, your private life. It also rules over your belief systems and the perspectives you have about certain things and how that shapes the way that you kind of operate out in the world, right? And the interactions that you have with other people and everything. So Venus is going to be entering it's going to be leaving your first house where it's been sandwiched in between the challenging malefic planets, which could have very well brought very restrictive circumstances, frustrations related to money matters. And now Venus is going to be entering Pisces in your second house of money, resources, and our relationship to things that we own, our value systems. And Venus loves to be in Pisces. She is celebrated here, and this is very nice energy that could definitely change up a thing or two related to you feeling like something is not flowing as easily, and your personal magnetism may not be attracting financial abundance. You could be having issues with purchases or anything related to maybe purchases relative to home related matters, or maybe travel related matters, or it could have something to do as well with any type of higher educational pursuit that you might be moving towards or wanting to move towards. So Venus obviously is a planet of connection and our interpersonal relationships. Okay, so a couple ways I see this playing out. It's in Pisces, and Pisces is a highly creative energy. So this could literally give you a perspective shift and make you realize that maybe you could take some creative talent that you have and make an income with it. I can see this being like the artist, the poet, the musician, the spiritual healer. So maybe you are literally going to start meeting people that could help you in some way, or taking on clients, because Venus is also, working with clients on a one-on-one basis. It's very Libran in nature. So maybe you start attracting clients into your life, or people who could help you do this in some way. This could be great for shopping, purchasing things. Like, it's one of those days you go out and you actually find clothes that fit and that look good on you. You know what I mean? But you also want to be careful with this, because Venus is also associated with overindulgence and getting a little bit excessive in terms of our spending. So yeah, you could be wanting to do a lot of different things, but you want to try to temper that spending a little bit further, to make sure we're not overindulging and being extravagant in some way. You could be purchasing very beautiful things, maybe things for the home, maybe purchasing a plane ticket to go travel somewhere. You could be feeling more empathy and compassion surrounding the topic of money. So maybe you give to someone, charity. Maybe you feel more charitable and you want to help somebody out in some way, or something like that. There could somehow be a blending of like social affairs with money matters. So maybe you have like an art gallery or something like that you're going to be opening. These are just obviously very specific and not going to relate to everybody, but I want to give you these examples so you can take it and run with it and figure out how it's working for you. Okay. Now, let's see here. Also, so that happens April 5th. And then on April 12th, we start getting the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction at 23 degrees in Pisces in the same sign. So this is what a lot of people have been working towards, what a lot of people have been anticipating. It is a very magical energy. Jupiter is a planet of wisdom and expansion, opportunity, luck, and abundance, and it loves to be in Pisces as well. So as you can see, we have a lot of really positive planets in this area, and with Neptune, it brings in that spiritual element to it. It could give you an opening or start a brand new cycle for you, because this is a brand new 12-year cycle that's beginning, that will unfold relative to your creative talents, spiritual abilities, healing abilities, and how you can make an income from that. So this is really beautiful, and there could be things that are set into motion related to that cycle right now. Artistic pursuits in business, it could literally bring to life your dream to maybe create a spiritual business or an art business or something like that. I'm not gonna keep beating that, but you could also get really lucky, I guess, during this time with a purchase. So maybe you wanted to purchase, you've been dreaming of purchasing something or possessing something, and or selling something, and you could have a lot of luck where things seem to be flowing and amazing during this time. Now with this energy, I do want to also bring to your attention that every energy has a spectrum of possibilities, and the lower end of the spectrum would be not seeing things very clearly, things being deceptive, or we're being deceived by someone. So if you are purchasing something right now or spending on something extravagant or big, just be careful that you read below the dotted line, and make sure that the person you're purchasing it from is trustworthy and that you're not being swooned or swindled in some way, right? All right, so that is really nice energy that I feel like will be, for most of you that is, unless you have some difficult placements that are aspecting it, of course, will hopefully take a little bit of the weight off of your shoulders related to money matters. And this could be something relative to what's going on with your home and family life as well. Okay, then in the middle of the month, we do hit another little roadblock. I wouldn't say necessarily roadblock. I'm going to say point of intensity, because we have a full moon, which is obviously a dynamic of high intensity anyways with any full moon. It's a point of fruition, culmination from something that was seeded or started or initiated back in October at the new moon in Libra. So this is a full moon in Libra in your 9th house. This is a house associated with travel, foreign cultures, foreign languages. It's learning, higher education. It's expansion of our belief systems and our mind and our spirituality. So it's spiritual development, which there's a lot of self-development going on here with you anyways. So I'm sure that there's some deeply ingrained ways of being, ways of seeing the world that are definitely shifting and changing for you. As well. And this could bring some sort of crisis where maybe you're having to shift your perspective, or maybe you're having to travel in some way, shape, or form. This full moon, the reason it is so intense is because it's creating a T-square with Pluto in your 12th house. Now, Pluto's been in your 12th house for a long time, since 2008. And that in itself can be a little bit more challenging. It could bring up and boil up some of your let's say, tendencies to self-sabotage up to the surface. It might require you to have a shift in mindset. Maybe this is something that's stemming from the beginning of the month, where it has something to do with the ways in which you communicate, the way in which you share information, the way in which your mind works, mental agitation. And somehow this is asking you to evolve and step out of some sort of habit or pattern or structure and way of being that somehow throws you off course in some way. So I can see that being a way in which this could play out for you. Maybe during this time you're going to be having to travel, but it could be crisis oriented. Maybe it's an unexpected travel, something comes up to the surface and you have to go do some work behind the scenes. This could be maybe even related to family issues of some sort, money concerns or something like that. And yeah, so anyways, that's kind of how I see it. I'm not going to keep going on and on about that one, but it is a time period that you will want to be aware of. But again, it's passing energy, okay? After that, we have on April, and I don't know if I mentioned the date, that's April 16th. On April 19th, the sun will leave your Aries sector of your chart, which is this communication, the way you share and spread a message, learning, siblings, all of those things that have been at the forefront for some reason. And it enters your home sector, which is where the eclipse at the end of the month is going to be significantly affecting you. Because this is one of the angles of your chart. The fourth house is a very prominent house in everybody's chart. And when eclipses play here, or happen here, on these axes, I guess you could say, it brings in significant developments into our life over the course of an 18-month period of time. So this eclipse cycle started. Well, actually, we had an eclipse in Taurus back in November of 2021, but actually the nodes moved, which are tied to the eclipses, in January 2022, and this is going to significantly affect this home and career axis for you. Maybe with your parents, maybe with your career, maybe with home matters. Until July of 2023. So the sun moving in here is eventually going to create this eclipse with the north node, and it is going to bring focus on significant developments related to home and family matters, okay? So that's what's going on in Taurus season here. Now, we'll talk about the eclipse more at the end of this forecast, but I want to bring to your attention also, we are going to be moving into a Mercury retrograde in May. So this will be May 10th. So right now, Mercury, the planet of mind, communication, our thought processes, learning, the way we speak to people, right? Which has been a common theme for you over the course of this month anyways. The way that your mind works, your relationship to your mind, all of those types of things. Mercury is moving into what's called its retrograde pre-shadow period. And retrogrades get us rethinking about things. They make us go over things that we've done before to redo them or rethink them or re-strategize it in some way. It's like a very mental and internal process a lot of times. But the pre-shadow, if we're aware of it, and we know the dates and we know where it's affecting us in our chart, a lot of times it'll be important to watch that, what happens during April 26th to May 10th, because we might start to see life circumstance begin to set themselves up, which are what we will be working through in that retrograde period specifically. For you, this is very much going to be in the chart that has everything to do with home and family, which is very prominent for you right now. Parents, who lives with you, where you live, all of those things, and children could also come into the forefront with this as well as celebration, fun, joy, recreation, the things that we do because they bring us joy, indulging in the fine things in life, as well as dating and romance. So all of those things are definitely topics of focus for this retrograde that you will want to be aware of. So a lot of these home plans seem to be really up in the air for a lot of you Aquarians right now. Then on rounding out the month on April 29th, we've got Pluto stationing retrograde. So we stop this all planets direct momentum that we have going. And even though Pluto is an outer planet, and it, for you, I would say is probably not going to be as noticeable as it is for other people. It's in your 12th house. If you do have planets or points in the cardinal signs between 26 and 28 degrees, then this probably will have more of a significant effect on you. And the cardinal signs are Capricorn, which is where Pluto is, Libra, Aries, and Cancer. So check your chart for that, and you'll know if it'll affect you. Pluto retrogrades once every year for almost 50% of the year. So it's working with us on a very deep, inner, transformative level. And sometimes this is really subtle, unless it's having a significant hit on your chart. So for some of you, this won't be as important, but this is in your 12th house. This could bring up topics which are very familiar probably. You've been working through this since 2008 of power, your relationship with power and control dynamics, manipulation. I would say your obsessions, your personal drive and magnetism. All of those types of things could definitely come up to the forefront, and how these things could potentially be damaging to you. Maybe you're in a spiritual void of some sort, or maybe you're working through some of these dynamics that you hold within yourself. And these are the last moments. Pluto's going to be leaving your 12th house and entering your first, and really transforming who you are as a person. So this is a big purging time, maybe for some of you, to rework some of those inner dynamics, purge them out. Pluto destructs so that it can create a place to grow something beautiful from. So that is going to be happening from April 29th all the way to October. And then finally, the dynamic we've been waiting for is the partial solar eclipse in Taurus at 10 degrees. That's happening on April 30th. So it is eclipse season. This eclipse is even more significant. It's in your 4th house of home, family matters, your emotions, private life, and your roots, right? Ancestry, all of those kinds of things. So the North Node solar eclipse is an indication of a new beginning, moving in a new direction, something opening up. We're starting a new path. We're starting a new trajectory of some sort. This could be something that happens very quickly, suddenly, maybe even unexpectedly, because Uranus is involved. And Uranus is a change agent. It wants to eventually liberate us, but sometimes that process can be a little bit more messy. For you, there are some mitigating influences here, because the ruler of the Taurus eclipse is Venus, right? And Venus is conjunct Jupiter, the big benefic. We've got the most lucky planets together, combined in your 2nd house of money and finances. So there could be some really positive developments, maybe with a purchase or a sale, or you could get the resources that you need in some way, or something could be flowing, or luck could, strike you in unexpected ways related to these types of things. Now, one thing I do want to bring to your attention is that while it's also making nice aspects to your money house, it's making a little bit more challenging aspects to you and your ascendant. So if you have an ascendant or any other planets or points in the 1st house between 5 and 15 degrees of Aquarius, or also I would say of Scorpio or Leo too, because these are all the fixed signs that are going to be aspected in a more challenging way. So whatever this is that's going on at home, something that's going on with you could also be working at cross purposes here. You're still very much going through a process. So something could be feeling still limiting and restricting with you, because Saturn's still moving through your 1st house. You could still be dealing with some things that are maybe don't seem in alignment with all of the stuff that you have to do related to home, or somehow you feel like you're just somehow don't have the energy maybe to deal with it. Like that could be one way of dealing with it. Or maybe very well there is a health matter that pops up or something like that. And you just feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders, and there's a lot of developments and busyness that could be going on with this. That's kind of how I see it. So ultimately, I do feel like this eclipse is more positive than negative, so that's a good thing. But expect big beginnings and maybe endings of some sort in the weeks to come or weeks that follow. So I hope that this helped as a guide for the month of April. If you enjoyed it and you did benefit from it, please share it with anybody else that you think might benefit. Please tap the like button below. It does definitely help these videos to get out to more people. Leave me a comment. And I wish you the very best for the month of April. Keep an eye out as the month progresses. I will be releasing transit videos so that we can follow along with some of the major things that are happening this month on a deeper level. Thank you so much. Peace and namaste. Until next time, my friends.